Hello everyone, this is Shannon from Uniquely You Creative Creations. Here I am doing my strawberry pie. I did go through and I started with my strawberries with some clay, put some red paint in it as I just showed you, put them in a mold and then put them on a plate for a day or two to dry. Now here on my plate I am adding some hot glue and I'm using paper basically that I got from Amazon when my packages come, and I'm using it as a filler. That way you don't have to use as many strawberries. And I try to crumble it up, that way it kind of sticks everywhere, top sides to each piece. And you will see that I will go through and this one I decided to do 2 layers because I wanted it to come up a little thicker in the middle instead of so flat. Now you don't have to do yours as thick as I am. You can do yours less or more, whatever you prefer. And as you can see, I'm missing a few spots, so I'm kind of touching them up. And the reason I do that is because I'm going to end up painting this. Give myself a background to go underneath my clay. Here we go, we're going to bump it up a little bit. And then we're just going to go all the way around again. Now I also do the same thing when I do my blueberry pies and my apple pie. I do a filler and then I will, like with the blueberries, it's just clay with some paint mixed in it, and then I just put them into little balls and let them dry for a couple days, make sure they're good and dry. And then I color the background blue and glue them in there. The apple pie is just pieces of sponge that you get at the Dollar Tree, cut up. I took some coffee grunge, added a little extra cinnamon and some vanilla to give it extra scent. I did also pick up a bottle of incense at the Dollar Tree and added to it for extra scent. And again, I let that dry for a couple days as well. And did the same concept here. Put the paper in the pan, painted it, and then added my fruits. It's important that the paper stays down because when you have your little fruits on there, you don't want them wobbling all over the place. You want them to stay, and make it look like a real pie. And I try to get all the nooks and crannies in there so that there's no brown left, but there is going to be a little bit left, but that's okay because we'll cover it up with our fruit. Now I'm going to dry it a little bit. And you don't have to completely dry it, just dry it the best you want before you start hot gluing your fruits on. Because if the paint is still wet, it's still gonna adhere to it. So here I am, probably being a little over picky, but I like to make sure it all settles down. And the mold for the strawberries I did get on Amazon, and I dropped a couple. I decided to move them off and do a big area. Now the glue sticks that I did buy in this project were from, I want to say Dollar General, just because I was in the need for some. And I did find that they don't stick as well. So I did go on Amazon and purchase some new. And I'll just use these for, you know, another project that's not so much in need of a lot of glue. And they don't have to be hitting each other. You just spread them out because we're going to add a filler to it. Sorry if you can hear the clock in the background tick-tocking. Try to come someplace quiet so I could explain what I did on here. Okay, we got them all set. We're removing any excess glue that I can see. And normally with this, my first couple that I did, I used some resin that I had left over because I used to do tumblers. This time I'm going to use some Mod Podge. And I'm going to use up a couple different colors of red to fill it in. This is also going to, you know, dry the color of the paint. And it's going to help give it a fuller and make it look like it's, you know, got juices in the pie. But when I do use resin, I also make sure that I use inks to do my colors. And I actually like that better because it comes out with a better shine in it to make it look like it's got real juices in it. This one wasn't too bad, but I do like resin. But this is kind of a cheaper way. I might actually try doing Elmer's glue that's clear and see how that does on the next one. Just because Mod Podge is a little expensive. Okay, I finished that color and I started thinking, well, I think I need a little bit more of a different color. I ended up using some ink in this one. And I did that because when it mixes with the paint, it leaves like little dots in it. So it actually looks like some of the strawberry bits have fallen off the strawberries into the sauce. And here I am just drizzling it where I think it needs to be. You don't want it all in one spot at one time, because if it's in one spot at one time, it's gonna take over the full effect of color. And then here I am drying it. And once I do get this somewhat dry, I do leave it for a day or two, usually a day, or overnight. I did have a couple other things that I had to do before I got back to this one. So here in a minute, you'll see me coming back to it. Okay, here we are. I'm testing it to make sure it's completely dry. And this is air clay that I got off of Amazon. I have tried the stuff at Hobby Lobby, excuse me. It's too sticky. So I had to wait for this to come. Because as you do your crisscross pattern on it, you don't want it to stick. Because then you can't get them apart to fix if it doesn't, you know, line up right the way you want it. Here I just take my fingers and squash it. Flip it over and flatten my edges. It don't matter. It's a pie, you know, that we're trying to make look like it's homemade, so it ain't gotta be the best. I did 5 across on each side. And then I did my edging. There was something a little hard in that one. Oh, found another one. Now you can make these as wide as you want or as thin as you want. I like mine a little chunky, just because, you know, your dough is never perfect on a pie. And please, if you do have any questions about the videos that I list, you're more than welcome to make comments underneath it and I will check them. Or you can send me a message. I am just starting out, so I have my grandchild who I watch during the week, and my house is full because my kids moved back in. So we got a family of 6 people in this house right now. So I am trying to get things going and show new items that I'm making. And my daughter kind of took over my crafting room in the basement when she moved back in with her daughter. So we're kind of taking over the dining room right now. And the good thing with this clay, if it's a little too thin and you see it, you can just overlap it and rub it a little bit and it looks like nothing ever happened. See right there, it just was a little thin, so I overlapped it a little bit. And you could also use a rolling pin, roll it out, and then slice them as you want. But I found it easier and less time consuming to just do it this way. I do a couple small pieces to go on the ends. And you'll see why here soon as we start putting it together. And so you just line them straight across. And then you're just going to weave them in and out. Then I press it down and try to get any excess that is there because I'm going to put an edging on it. And I will go through and cut it. And I think I go around twice just to make sure that I get all the excess, because you know you can use that on your edging. That one's a little short, but that's okay because with our edging on it, nobody's going to know. Now with the edging, I just get a good amount, work it in, and then I'll roll it really super, long and make sure that it is a good thickness for your crust around the edges. And this is the same method that I used on the blueberry and strawberry and the apple cinnamon. And I had a little extra, so I took it off. And I just do the thumb method. It was something that my mom and my grandma taught me, so I kind of stick with it. And some comes out a little far, so I kind of pat it back up a little bit. And I'm going to just push down a little bit more in certain areas. Get it to your liking, what you prefer. Okay, I leave for a moment. I have to run and make my my coffee mix. I do brewed coffee, or you can use instant coffee with a little bit of water, add some vanilla with it, and a little bit of cinnamon just to give it a little bit of extra design to the pattern. The first coat I do just with that, just to see how it looks, give it a little extra brown. Then I take and I add some Elmer's glue to it, mix it up really well. It comes out thicker, that way I can do that blotchy dark spots. And I think I did add a little bit extra coloring to it as far as like instant coffee. I added a little bit more to it. And I think I got a little distracted with the family for a moment. I apologize for that, but here I come back. Make sure the stuff doesn't get on my table. Close up my clay so it doesn't get hard. Okay, here's the first mixture I did. I usually just dab this on with a regular paintbrush. When I got to the thicker stuff, it's up to you on what you use. You can keep using a paintbrush, or you can use one of the foam brushes. It don't matter if that stuff drips off, it's going to give it that look that it was homemade cooked. It's dripped its juices out and looks really good. Okay, as I get close to finishing up the first layer, I go through and make sure that I didn't miss any spots. I try to get it in the insides just to give it a little bit of coloring. You don't want too much down in there because you want the cooked look to be on the top. Here I'm gonna dry it. And like I said, you see it blowing off a little bit? That's fine. It gives it that juicy, yummy look as you keep going. And you can see some of the juices down there on top of the strawberries, which is completely fine. It'll dry up. And you don't have to get this completely dry, just close enough that you can go through and put another layer on it. Then I usually wait after my last layer. I do dry it a little bit. I wait till the next day to make sure it's fully dry. That way I can put my bow and my little tag on it, design it the way I want to make it look cute. And here I'm up getting some Elmer's glue. Elmer's glue, I just get it Dollar Tree. I think this bottle costs like $6. Yep, I'm going to darken it up a little bit more. And at this time, if it was an apple pie, I would be adding some cinnamon to it. But since we're on a strawberry or even a blueberry, I would not add the cinnamon. Now I'm just trying to make sure the glue kind of mixes right in with all those juices. Now we decide a little bit of Mod Podge to thicken it up just a little bit more. Got a little bit too much coffee in there. Or excuse me, yeah, brewed coffee. And here we go. It's a little thicker. I can dab it. And you just keep rotating it and get it as dark as you want. You'll find after I do the second layer, I will go through and get a good amount that's got glue in it and like drip it in spots in the cracks. And you just do this until whatever makes it look right for you. I like mine to have a little bit more extra juicy look to it. So I just add a little extra. And if it starts coming off as it dries, I just add a little more. now we're going to dry it. And again, if those juices start dripping off again, it's just going to add more character to your pie. And again, if you find that this isn't dark enough for you, you can put on another layer over the top of it. It's all in your judgment and how you like your pies to look. Here I was going to go ahead and start I'm going to add a little bit more. I wanted it a little darker. So I did a little bit more brown ink in it. I think it was called Coffee. And I did buy that package off of Amazon. And I used to use it for, again, my tumblers when I used to make them. So I do a little bit darker spots. To me, it just wasn't dark enough. It gives it a little bit more of that baked look that you want. I try to do the crust a little bit darker because you know how sometimes those edges get a little darker than the rest of the pie. And we're going to go ahead and dry it a little bit more. After I do this, I leave it set for a day or two before I add on my bow or whatever you want to put on the top of it. And this is Shannon from Uniquely You Creative Creations, and I hope you enjoyed my video. Please make sure you leave any comments below, or you can message me. Thank you so much, and bless you. Oh, and I do share a picture of the finished product with everything done. Thank you, guys. Please share and get me out there.